How you doing, Daniel, mate?
Terrible. Oh,
you and us both, mate. West Ham 2-0 up now at Turf Moor. How genuine and serious is this threat of relegation for you?
It's very serious, to be honest. I remember I came on the Burnley game and I said, there's really nothing. I don't want to, be like the last two and come with a lot of pessimism and stuff, but
what positivity can you bring?
That's what I was about to say. There's nothing positive going on right now. Like everything just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It's so scary. I think the thing is, West Ham look like the team that's too good to go down.
Yeah.
So if nobody sees them getting relegated, who's going to take their spot?
Yeah.
It's not going to be Forest. It's not going to be Leeds, and it's not going to be Palace. And because of form, because of how bad we are, I guess if you compare us to all the other teams in terms of performances, we play a lot worse than all these other teams. I guess Forest, we can't really chat shit about Forest. They slapped us 3-0. They actually slapped us. We can't even chat shit about Forest. They actually banged us. But
the only actual team below us that we haven't lost to, I think, is we beat Palace.
Burnley.
We got them coming.
We beat Burnley.
Burnley we haven't lost to.
We beat them as well.
And Wolves.
We beat Burnley at home.
We haven't beaten Wolves, though, have we?
We haven't beaten. We drew to Wolves as well.
Leeds. We beat Leeds away. Beat Leeds away. 2-1.
Oh yeah,
we beat Leeds away. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's it though. That's where it stops.
They're gonna beat us though in the reverse fixture. They're a very serious team. But even at that, going to the relegation question, when it comes to performances, we play worse than all the other teams below us that are in that relegation fight. That's why it's very scary. Like I don't want to put it in the world, but honestly, we might be 18th. We might actually
don't
be
say
18th.
that. Bite your tongue.
I don't want to. I know. Sorry. I want to cut it off. I want to do more than bite it off. But honestly, it's scary. But again, it just goes back to everything that's just been going on wrong. It's not just non-footballing people making. It's not just us not having footballing people making footballing decisions, but it's non-footballing people making these footballing decisions. Honestly, because I feel sorry for Frank because he's a good manager, he's a good coach, a good tactician. But for us to say he was capable of doing what we expected him to do, when I feel like I've done my research, but forgive me, maybe I'm missing something. But has he won a trophy in this country? Has he won a trophy since he's been?
No.
Did he win the championship?
No.
Exactly. He came second to come into the.
Did he win? I think he might have won the playoffs.
Oh, did he win?
I think he might have won the playoffs.
The playoffs. Sorry. He's not won a trophy, and for us to now say he's capable of coming to a club of our stature, coming to a club of our demand, and say he's gonna finish in the top 5 position, say he's gonna compete and win on all fronts. It's just a very weird decision, because this era of football isn't like 2002 where if you see Fulham like finish 5th or Everton finish 5th, you're like, oh yeah, they're a good team. This era you got Crystal Palace beating City in the final to win an FA Cup and beating Liverpool to win a Community Shield. You got Brighton even getting to Europa League under De Zerbi. You got Nottingham Forest getting into Europe under Nuno. You got Aston Villa. Look at how Unai Emery came and grabbed them all the way. Now they're finishing in the Champions League. They're finishing in European spots on a consistent basis. Same with Newcastle. Obviously with them, they've got a country funding them. But even at that, it's like, what was Thomas Frank judged on for them to say he was going to take us to the next step? I don't want to bring up Ange because.
Well, I'll tell you what Thomas Frank did was bring Brentford from the Championship into the Premier League on the lowest budget in the Premier League and kept them in mid-table. Basically, that's what he did.
Yeah, but again, this is what I'm saying though. That was expected of him. Do you see what I'm saying?
I don't think it was expected of him.
100% it was. Look at the recruitment, but okay, even if it wasn't expected of him, it wasn't just him that contributed to that.
Yeah,
Look at the
100%.
players. Look at the recruitment that they've done. Look at the way that they've.
Yeah, but
Look
that
at the
was
way
all
that Brentford
centered
have
around
functioned.
him, and he was the one that developed those players as well.
You say that, but evidently he's gone and they've gotten better.
Yeah.
They're about to finish. He
That's true.
finished highest.
Yeah, but do you
Nice.
not think it's all on the back of the work that he's done as well? Like, he's contributed to how well they've done this season as well.
Yeah, but he never progressed. He contributed to how well they done this season. He came to Tottenham. He came to Tottenham and took all the coaching staff.
The best players at Brentford have left. Wissa, Norgard, and Mbeumo, and
Tony.
Well, Thiago
Tony.
was his signing.
Raya.
Yeah, so he got one in, but the best players left, and the new guy that's come in is doing better with a weaker team.
But everyone that's doing well for them is actually his players.
Then what you're saying is the new guy that's come in is doing better with a weaker team.
Yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
I get that. But the
So
whole
that shows
structure,
it wasn't just but you're saying it's around him. He's left and they got better. They seem to progress now. They're progressing.
Yeah.
Igor Thiago was brought there and he was injured for a whole season. Yeah, it was his signing, but Igor Thiago came in and he was injured for a whole season. So him coming in and playing the football that he's playing now, that was never expected under Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
That was never going to be expected under him. And even at that, the players, Brentford have got a crazy, a very good recruitment strategy. They've got a very good recruitment because the players that they seem to be bringing in are not just. It's proof that it's also partly on their recruitment because when they leave Brentford, they all seem to do better. They all seem to go on to bigger and better things. Obviously, Tony went to Saudi because of the betting thing and all that rubbish that he used to do. But look at Mbeumo at United. Look at David Raya at Arsenal. He's probably the best keeper in the. I was about to say in the world, but
he's a top keeper. He's a top keeper. He is.
He's probably one of the best keepers in the world. He's one of the best keepers in the world. Even you look at Mbeumo, you look at a lot of the players that they've let go. Look at Watkins at Aston Villa. You know, he gets an England call up. You look at Ben Brahma. Obviously, he didn't go well at West Ham, but that's still a quality player. You know, he did contribute a lot to Brentford, but again, even at that, is that enough for us to say he's going to come to Tottenham and win using our CEO's words, win on all fronts and finish in the European position in the top five, which was compete on all fronts,
Daniel,
and finish in the top 5 position.
Daniel, can I ask you what you just said there? Isn't that more about recruitment then, as opposed to the manager? I'm not saying Frank was the right appointment. I'm not saying that, but is it not a case of that recruitment is the bigger factor because Brentford recruit better than Spurs? Then is that not the main talking point?
It adds to it. Even it adds to it because our recruitment is absolutely shambolic. But to be fair, we play a part to why our recruitment's bad because we like to go to these teams that we try to be as good as, like the Juves, the PSGs, the Bayerns, the Atletico Madrid, the Barcelona, Real Madrid. We go to those teams and pick players that aren't good enough for them and say that they're good enough for us. And not just that, we now expect them to make us as good as those teams.
Yeah.
And it's like we're setting them up to fail. No disrespect to Conor Gallagher, but why do we think he's going to come to us, God, and improve us and make us the team that we want to be or make us closer to the team that we want to be? He's not playing for Atletico Madrid. He's not good enough for them. So why do you think he's going to come to Tottenham and not just make us closer to the objective of where we wanted to be, but even to make us as good as Atletico Madrid? Why are we doing that to him?
Well,
why are we doing that to Paulinho?
I mean, it depends.
It
It depends where you think Spurs are at, right? Because Conor Gallagher, in my opinion, is still an upgrade on what we have at the club. Whether you think he's good enough or not to where the end goal is or where you think we should be is fine, but that's not where we're at. Conor Gallagher is a very good player. You know, he was central to Chelsea finishing 6th.
How is he an upgrade? Okay, fair enough. If he's an upgrade based off ability, yeah. But again, football we're supposed to judge football off performances. We're supposed to. There's a part of football where it's like, what do you call it? Where it's just based off merit. Where it's based off the level, based off how good you're playing.
Yeah.
We're not about ability and talent and how tall you are and physical and how good looking you are and all that rubbish. It's based on how you're performing. Conor Gallagher was on the bench. He was not good enough for Atletico Madrid. We threw 40 M's on him and said he's now going to make us better. What is if footballing people out there? Let's talk football. If you want, I don't want to take it to Football Manager in it because like obviously that's a game. But if you want Football Manager, would you make that move?
For Conor Gallagher, no. I'd bring if I had to only bring in one midfielder, you got to bring in more of a kind of passer that can sit from deep. That's what we needed.
But how would you judge on who's good enough to play? You have to watch them, no?
Yeah.
You don't. He's not starting for Atletico Madrid, and we're saying that he's gonna come here and make us better. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that with players like Paulinho as well? Why are we doing that with players like even like Tel and Colin? We go to these clubs and grab these players and say they're gonna make us better, make us into the teams from the clubs that they're coming from when they're not good enough to play for them. It's just so weird.
Daniel, do you know one problem I think we've got?
What?
We have to also look at players that actually want to come to us, because I think there's a lot of players that don't want to come to us. I think there's a lot of players that will say, I'd rather wait and go to somewhere else, because we're such a shit show from top to bottom, inside out, that
honestly, now it's getting worse, yeah.
Managers don't want to come here, players don't want to come here.
Yeah,
even fans don't want to go to games.
No, yeah, facts,
no one wants to come.
I don't even want to watch Tottenham.
Do you think it was actually quite telling, looking back at it, a hindsight in the summer, where Mbeumo would reject us whilst we're in the Champions League,
go to United,
to go to United, who lost that final, who have no European football, and actually we have got the manager that developed him to that level.
Exactly. Thank you. You understand what I'm saying. It's crazy the situation we're in. Mbeumo's rejecting us. Mbeumo,
and he's scoring against Frank.
And he scored as well. You got players like Mbeumo's rejecting us. You got players like Gibbs White. Look at the situation Gibbs White is in. He's rejecting us. You got like it's
hard, man. It's hard. It's very hard.
But we could have never gotten those players anyways, to be fair. But I just even when you go on when we're talking about recruitment, we have done well in some aspects, but I don't know why we don't focus on those aspects that we've done well in. Like you look to, I know, like I was going back saying that all these hand-me-down signings from like Paulinho, Moani, and Tottenham Gallagher and stuff. But if you look at the other side of things, when we've actually scouted players, when we've actually signed players based off merit, like Udogie, like Van der Ven, look what happened in the first season when they played. Both of those players were like team of the season. I think both of them did make team of the season. No, not Van der Ven. I think Udogie did. If I'm correct. If I remember correctly.
He had a very good season anyway, put it that way.
He had a very good season. Van der Ven's come in, he's come to Tottenham, and he's only gotten better. And he didn't come from like a place like Romero from Juve. He didn't come from like a place like Bentancur and
Romero came from Atalanta.
Sorry, Juve sold him to Atalanta, and then But sorry, he didn't come from like the stages that a lot of these guys played from. A lot of these guys played at. Some of these guys like we signed, like Bentancur, Kulusevski, like Paulinho, they've all played like Champions League football. They're all consistently playing in Europe. Van der Ven came from a 12th place Wolfsburg, 12th and 8th place at Wolfsburg, and he ends up being one of the best left-sided defenders in the world. It's the same with Udogie. Look at the performance he was putting in. He was putting in top-tier performances in the league. And these were nobodies. And they ended up playing well. Why? Because we gave them the opportunity because of how well they performed. And we seem to like move away from that recently. I don't know why. We seem to move away from that, which is weird.
We brought in Xavi and Kudus. Would you say they were good moves?
Yeah, but again, why did we sign Kudus? Because we could. Okay, Kudus,
I feel like signing. It's an opportunistic one.
Thank you. It was more of an opportunistic signing than him being good enough to play for Spurs. Look at the performances he was putting for West Ham. He was terrible, especially against us. The one where we won, where Son sat Todibo down. That was it like 3-0 or something like that.
When he got sent off.
Like that. Yeah, when he got sent off. Yeah, that game he was terrible. That game, you know what I mean? But Xavi as well. Xavi is good, but you have to remember we only signed Xavi because we couldn't get Gibbs White, we couldn't get Eze, we couldn't get like Nico Paz and Chalky and all these guys. We couldn't get Morgan Rogers. Xavi was like the 8th choice. He was like the 8th choice cam that we wanted. No disrespect to the guy, he's a quality player, but he wasn't at the top of our list for a reason. In fact, if Chelsea even put a couple M's more on him, then he would have been in their shirt if we're
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah.
But again, we just seem to be going away from that, you know, make like giving the players the opportunity to play based off merit.
Don't
And we're
worry,
going to
Daniel.
all these
Thomas
hand me
Frank says
downs.
we've got a very, very serious board here.
Why is he? Why is he? You know what it is? I feel sorry for him as well because
He's a yes man.
he's
That's why.
getting, but he's the board's got a lot of ego. Let's be honest, because they said that this with a new board and he's going to be the right man. They're obviously their egos getting in check right now because they were wrong about that decision and they don't want to admit it. That's why he's probably going to make it to the end of the season. In fact, I even think he might make it till next season. I think it's next season that he might get sacked at the end of next season. But that's why like they keep there's no rumors of him getting sacked and the board's not going to sack him and all that stuff. And even regarding the Romero situation, I remember you're talking about Alex about is Frank gonna strip the captaincy badge off him? I don't think it's up to Frank. I don't think it's up to him. I think it's up to the board. You have to remember, coaches got different roles these days. Like when it comes to even players that they're using, it's not even up to the coaches at certain times. You know what I mean? Romero's got disrespected the board bare. Him and his agent. He's forced to move out. I rate him, but I don't think he has to remember like he's at our club because he's not good enough for certain clubs. If he tried to force him to move out and he ended up at Spurs, fair enough. We did give him more money and the captain's armband after he disrespected us, which is a stupid move from us. But he needs to remember as well that like only Tottenham fans call him world class. It's only us that actually think he's good.
And Argentinians.
Exactly, and Argentinians. But at the same time, they say he's good for Argentina. Why? Because he's won the World Cup. But what are you going to say? Otamendi's in the world class centre back now. I rate Otamendi as well at his time at City. But are we going to say he's one of the best centre backs in the world as well, alongside Romero? He's not. Are we going to say Tagliafico is? Are we going to say Montiel and Molina are? We're not going to say those guys are. It's like listen. We're in a terrible situation, man. In a terrible situation.
Do you blame him for the loss today?
Who? Romero?
Romero, yeah.
Man, I've not been his biggest fan since he's come at Spurs. I still class him as that hand-me-down signing because he went to Juve, then went to Atalanta, and then came to us. And ever since he's been at us, in my opinion, he's not been better than what he was before. He's just been that same level, that level under world class. I wouldn't blame him for the loss today. I wouldn't completely blame him. But again, it's a big, like, I would say 50% him, 50% quote on Thomas Frank.
Do you think under a better structure he can become world class?
100%. Look at the first season under Ange. The hell? Absolutely.
Under
We've seen it.
Under Poch.
Look at the first season under Ange. Look at him in Argentina. It's not about he can become world class. He can, but again, he's got that ability that certain players got. He's got that ability to lose you a game.
Yeah.
He's got that he's a class. He might even be I don't think he's better than Van der Ven, but like when it comes to defend, when it comes to every single attribute, when you measure all his attributes, he's probably one of the best, but he's got that mistake in him, whether it's a rash tackle, whether it's like just him playing a bad pass, whether it's him playing someone onside, him lacking concentration, getting out of position in the wrong time. He's got that ability to just lose a game. And it's not just him. Pedro Porro has it as well. It's not just him.
I feel like Daniel with Romero, like if the structure's good around him and if the team are on form and everything's kind of going as it planned, Romero could be one of the best players on the park. But as soon as things come a bit disjointed, then he comes disjointed and he loses his shit pretty much.
Thank you. You see that there? That's the difference. That is there right there is the difference between a world class player and
I agree.
somebody that's not a world class player. You know what I mean? I remember when Jose Mourinho said it about what's his name? When he said it about Pogba,
yeah,
good players can play great in one position, but great players can play good in like multiple situations. And Romero, if he needs everything to be good for him to be good, then I think that's our answer there, isn't it? That shows that he's not.
Ain't great to be a Spurs player being that way as well.
Exactly. I did say you know what? I remember the first time I came on, you and was it, I don't remember if it was you. You and Brian were laughing at me when I said, "Listen, he wants to leave. Let him go. We've got Vuskovic. We didn't need to send him out on loan to Hamburg after the season he had in Belgium. We didn't need to send him out on loan to Hamburg. He was one of the best young players in the world at Belgium. We did not need to send him out on loan. We could be playing him right now. He's 18 and he's only getting better.
But Daniel, this is what I was having this conversation with Ben earlier. Like mid game, we kind of gave up, so we just started talking about the academy, and I was saying that Frank doesn't play the academy players. No.
What? Absolutely, he doesn't. Of course, he doesn't. He come from Brentford. They wanted to ban their under 21s team for a B team, I think, where they'll just slap a lot of the reserves.
No.
No, but it's true.
They wanted to shut down part of the
has
academy.
gone down
Right.
to a Cat 2.
I forgot
That's why
about
the
that.
academy has dropped down from a Cat
point.
1. They were a Cat 1 academy and they've dropped down to a Cat 2 because they tried to ban their under 21. They tried to close down their under 21 side for a B team.
Can I ask you a question?
Frank's never going to play.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that Van der Ven and Romero will be at Spurs next season?
No, I don't think so.
Well, both of them or just one?
So. Yeah, I think both of them will go. Both of them should go, guys. Both of them should go. So let's not. You see with these players, you see players like Romero. Yeah, you bring him in, and he's gonna be as vocal and criticize the board. He's making it. Let's be real here. He's tried to force a move out multiple times. As much as what he's saying is right, yeah, the message is right, but the messenger isn't. He isn't. He is the messenger. Let's look at him for a minute. He's tried to force a move out. He doesn't care about the club. Let's not act like he does. I know Thomas Frank is saying he's passionate about the club and so that's cap. He's literally tried to force a move out on a consistent basis. He criticized one board, the previous board. New board comes in, criticizes the new board again. I don't know what kind of promises they told him, but again, I think it was I can't remember if it was you or
Sim.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was you or Sim that said like Romero should have a head on him here. Even if they did make these promises, you should know, like, you're at Tottenham. You should know what's going on. Do you see what I'm saying? And because now Romero, he's the captain as well, he's come with this like toxic energy. It's gonna spread across the dressing room. That energy is gonna spread across the dressing room and affect all the other players. Look at Van der Ven. He's going on the overlap amongst the talks of his contract situation. He's gonna leave. He's going to overlap saying that, he was surprised that Andrew's getting sacked and he didn't want him to go and he was upset and stuff like that. Oh, he's going to let them go. They don't want to play for Spurs anyways. Do you see what I'm saying? They don't want to play for Spurs. Let them go.
Yeah, but
that's what I said, yeah.
Don't you two think that's a problem? Because when Harry Kane wanted out, fans were saying,
but it was bad. No, but it was bad for us to keep him. When a player, at the end of the day, if a player doesn't want to play for the club, let him go.
Yeah, I think it's a completely different situation with Harry Kane though, because Harry Kane come through the academy here. He's got that affinity with the club. He's got that personal connection with the club. Van der Ven and Romero don't have that personal connection with the club.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me put my point forward here. Rather than having this mindset of if they want to go, let them go. Should we not be? Why do you want to leave? It's because you don't match my ambition. That's why players leave, because they don't think right. So should we not be, no, we're not going to let you go. We're going to match your ambition. Shouldn't that be what we say?
But match their ambition how?
By signing.
You see what I'm saying? And even at that,
yeah.
No, but even at that, let's understand as well, like, I understand players come with expectations, but at the same time, I remember when Andrew was saying, like, you can't, if you're coming to Tottenham for Champions League football, then don't come to Tottenham. And that's what I feel like the ambitions of, players like Romero and Van der Ven are. Whether it's justified because of their ability, because of their status.
No, but he was saying you come here to play for the club, the badge. That's what he was trying to say.
No, but it is. That's how it should be, though. Romero expects the club to take him to Champions League.
Yeah, but Daniel, that badge has to mean something, bro. That badge has to mean something, and it only means something.
But it doesn't mean something. It doesn't mean something
trophies.
to those guys.
That's what Andrew's getting at. Andrew's saying, don't come here because you want Champions League football. Come here because you want to be a winner and play for the badge, and for the manager, to develop that badge into a winning badge. He did it, but then he was sacked. But he didn't do it to the levels I think a lot of fans wanted. But go on, sorry.
No, sorry, you literally just hit the point. He did it and he got sacked. So what kind of... Obviously, again, like, I guess the players didn't like that. It's not even I guess. Like, they've been vocal about it. When he got sacked, all the messages that were spurred out and everything. to them, I guess they're perceiving it in the way you literally just said it, where it's like, okay, you sack the manager that we won something with, where we've been trying to win something at this club, 8 semi-finals, 6 finals, we finally got over the line, and you sacked him. So what is, if I'm Romero, I'm going to be looking at like, why would you do that? That's ridiculous. You're literally removing somebody that's achieved an ambition that you've been set for years. And unfortunately, that's the case. This is one of the reasons why I said that we should bring Ange back. It's one reason why I said we should bring Ange back. I know everyone's like on this Poch thing. Ange got us over the line at the end of the day. Football's a competition-based sport, and he won, and he was the only person that was capable of winning the competition with Richarlison and Brennan Johnson up front as well.
Who divides the fan base more? Ange coming back or Poch coming back?
But put it like, who divides?
Yeah.
100% Ange.
Exactly. So they're not going to do that. So Daniel, they won't do that. They won't bring back Ange because of that.
But they don't care about the fans. They don't care about the fans.
You say that, but if the fans turn, they tend to make decisions on how fans turn.
Oh no! I disagree.
They don't care about the fans.
These guys are business people. They're business people.
Put it this way: they don't care about the fans, but they care about the heat. They care about the heat coming into their direction. That's what they care about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, facts. In fact, I say they care about the money most of it all. And I get it, they're business people, but they put that money. It seems like it's just profit over like everything. It's just the best business decision is put over every single aspect of running a club. When it's like your club is a football club, what happened to the footballing decisions? What happened to making decisions based off football? They will scrap all of that for the sake of business. And that's why we're in the position. That's a big reason why we're in the position we're in now. That's a big reason why I think they even like Frank, to be honest, because he's a statistician. He bases football a lot of data, of stats, a lot of averages. And again, how are you even going to achieve greatness by working off averages? And even at that, I'm not even asking for for footballing philosophy like tiki taka and all that stuff. But again, football has to be the foundation of a foundation, especially when it comes to coaching. The foundation needs to be off a footballing ideology. What is the footballing idea? You can't just base it off averages off what other teams do. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why the second half, a lot of the games we play in the second half, we react well because he's got something he can work with. The first half is always poor. Second half, we react well. We'll get a draw 2-2 against Burnley. We'll get a draw 2-2 against City. But when it comes to setting off, getting goal, when it comes to what's intended of what we want from these players, it's a massive grey area because I don't know what system we're even playing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even if there is a system, how established is it? We're in the relegation battle.
Okay, relegation. I can't believe it's
oh God, Daniel.
Crazy, man.
He's not lying, though, is he? He's not lying.
No, he's right, man. He's right. He's right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on today. Really good points made.
No problem, man. Listen, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Hopefully.
We live to fight another day.
Big up, Daniel.
Big up to Daniel.
Yeah.